Tracking thunderstorms here across northern Utah, what you can expect for the timing of a cool down and your chance for rain on Saturday.
Construction will be clearing soon for commuters and residents here on State Street. I'll tell you when the big water line replacement that's been sending drivers on detours all summer will be wrapping up.
After Fox 13 News reported disturbing allegations against a long-serving state senator, the Utah Senate takes action tonight.
Caught on camera, why BYU police are looking for the people lighting fireworks in this video.
It's a collection you have to see to believe.
As much as you can see here, there is at least this much that is not out yet.
The story of one man's legacy from a galaxy far, far away.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Our top story tonight is the weather. We saw some moments of heavy rainfall in the Salt Lake Valley earlier this afternoon, and we will see more throughout the weekend.
Let's get right to Utah's Weather Authority. Allison Krogan in the Weather Center. Allison.
Hi, starting with some rain totals from 6 a.m. today. We saw some impressive amounts in some short amounts of time. So Joes Valley saw about 3/4 of an inch of rain, and we look into Point of the Mountain, about 1/2 of an inch of rain. We did have an aerial flood advisory that was allowed to expire for Point of the Mountain up through Sandy. Olympus Cove, 0.35, same thing for Sandy. Evanston, about 1/4 inch. Parley's Canyon, about 1/10 of an inch. And Cedar City, 0.03. Now we look at our satellite and radar tonight. We still have a few storms that have been going. We had one that moved through West Valley City and Salt Lake about a half hour ago. That has cleared. We had some strong storms developing just southwest of Dugway and through Spanish Fork Canyon up towards the Uintas. We do have a few thunderstorms right now. So what I'm tracking for you into central Utah and southern Utah tonight, still some breezy conditions, but we're going to keep the bulk of our precipitation into northern Utah overnight and into tomorrow. In fact, most of this tonight will be into northwest Utah and eastern Nevada. We'll talk more about what you can expect for additional rainfall here along the Wasatch Front coming up.
Allison, thanks. Now to the very latest on the Halfway Hill fire in Fillmore. That fire remains just over 11,700 acres tonight. It is 90% contained. It started back on July 8th. It is human caused. Officials say fire activity will be minimal due to scattered showers and thunderstorms, as well as increasing cloud cover in the area.
3 people are in critical condition after a head-on collision at the Galooli switchback along U.S. Highway 6, about a mile east of Soldier Summit in Utah County. Troopers say it happened at about 4 this afternoon. One of 2 vehicles rolled, trapping 2 people inside. All 3 victims were hospitalized. Highway 6 was shut down for a time in both directions, but has since reopened.
Caught on camera. South Salt Lake Police now looking for this porch pirate. Take a good look here. The department shared this video from the victim's Ring camera system, capturing the moment this guy took a package right off of the homeowner's front porch. We're told it happened just before 3 o'clock this afternoon. Please call South Salt Lake Police if you can help identify the suspect in this case.
And take a look at this. BYU police have released this video of some people lighting fireworks and causing a brush fire. In a Facebook post, the department says Provo firefighters were able to put out the fire just 60 seconds from the time it started. There was no damage to any nearby homes.
In Salt Lake City, a man is now behind bars accused of shooting another man in the stomach at the Gateway Inn overnight, sending him to the hospital in critical condition. Police say the suspect, Anthony Griffin, was riding away in the passenger seat before an officer pulled him over and found him with the stolen weapon used in the crime. Officers also located more than 9 grams of cocaine and a large amount of cash during their investigation. Now, the Gateway Inn has been an area of focus along North Temple for Salt Lake City Police. Over the past 3 months, officers have made 24 felony arrests at the motel. It's been up for sale since March. Police have not released the circumstances surrounding this morning's shooting.
Provo-based Nu Skin is expected to continue cutting jobs in an effort to save $100 million in costs. Our content partners at the Salt Lake Tribune report Nu Skin CEO Ryan Napierski said in an earnings call yesterday that the company faces challenges from various fronts around the world. The company has declined to comment on how many people will lose their jobs. But we do know that it has closed Grove Technologies, a vertical farming company in Vineyard. The move laid off 121 employees who work there. Read the Salt Lake Tribune's full report at sltrib.com. Drivers heading up to the state capitol from downtown Salt Lake City have been sent on all kinds of detours all summer.
It's been tricky trying to get up to the Capitol. Crews have spent months replacing a more than 100-year-old water line on State Street. But as Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree shows us, construction will finally be wrapping up soon.
Many Salt Lake City commuters and residents on Capitol Hill have been spending more time in the car this summer.
We really needed to shut down State Street so we could get the project completed in a timely manner and also in a safe manner. And so we really do appreciate that this has been inconvenient for people who live around the area or trying to get from one place to another.
Director of the Department of Public Utilities, Laura Briefer, says crews are on track to complete the project by the end of this month.
We're really excited about this project. You know, as you might know, we're replacing a more than 100-year-old water line. It was a 6-inch line. We're replacing it with a 12-inch line that can really accommodate a lot of the growth that we're seeing in the community.
The State Street water line itself serves a small portion of Salt Lake City's population, but its replacement has a much bigger impact.
Salt Lake City's water system is also very vast. Our entire water system serves about 141 square miles. And so every part of the system that we can update like this actually has, indirect benefits to other parts of the system as well, because it's a very connected system.
After doing 2 9-hour water shutoffs, Briefer says residents will not have their water shut off again from the project.
I'm one of those people affected. I live in the Avenues area, and especially at the end of the school year this year when I was bringing my kids to West High, having that extra diversion was a little inconvenient. But, we all understand we need to take care of our water infrastructure. It's just so important.
Crews will be paving on State Street from South Temple up to 200 North. Drivers will see rolling lane closures and changing traffic patterns. The city asked drivers to avoid the area whenever possible and use alternate routes. Reporting in Salt Lake City, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
In world news, Russia says it's ready to discuss prisoner swaps with the U.S. This comes a day after WNBA star Brittany Griner was found guilty of drug charges and sentenced to 9 years in prison. The White House has not confirmed reports the U.S. has offered a prisoner swap for Griner and former Marine Paul Whelan.
We are ready to discuss this topic, but within the framework agreed upon by the presidents, Putin and Biden.
Hopefully the U.S. government will find a resolution. Hopefully the Russian government will agree to the offer, and this will all come to an end.
Russia says it will not discuss the prospect of a transfer publicly, saying megaphone diplomacy is a mistake.
In national news, Milwaukee, Wisconsin will host the 2024 Republican National Convention. GOP leaders made the announcement today. Salt Lake City was in the Final Four before being knocked out of the running back in March of this year. Both parties typically hold their conventions in a major city in a battleground state. Wisconsin is expected to be one of those close races come 2024. It's gone for Obama, Trump, and Biden in the last 3 elections.
InfoWars host Alex Jones has been ordered to pay $49.3 million in punitive damages to the parents of a 6-year-old boy killed during the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. Jones repeatedly claimed the 2012 mass shooting was a hoax, putting the family through pain and suffering. He has since taken back that claim, but only after members of the victim's family received death threats from some of Jones's followers.
To see the suffering that these children had to go through because nobody stood up for them makes me sick to my stomach.
A bombshell report by the Associated Press is out, detailing an alleged cover-up by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints of years of sexual abuse. Tonight, how the church is responding to these claims.
I don't see any problem solvers. I don't see any solutions. All I see is more crime.
After 14 years out of office, former Salt Lake City Mayor Rocky Anderson wants to run again. And he says he can do it better.
It's a collection straight out of the movies.
It's pretty amazing. It's overwhelming, I think.
How one man's legacy is now turning into something where you can own a piece of a galaxy far, far away.
The U.S. economy added more than 500,000 jobs in July, driving the unemployment rate to a 50-year low. That's according to federal data published today. Most analysts believe the number would be much lower. The economy has added jobs for 19 months in a row, fueling speculation the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates again at its next meeting in September.
Amazon is buying the Roomba, the wireless room vacuum. The company will pay $1.7 billion for Roomba's parent company, iRobot. It is the fourth major acquisition for Amazon this year. The company has expanded rapidly over the past decade. Amazon also owns Whole Foods, Ring Security, and MGM Studios.
HBO Max and Discovery Plus will merge sometime next year. It's one piece of the larger merger between Discovery and Warner Brothers, which owned HBO Max. The two apps have a combined 92 million users, which would make them the fourth largest streamer in the country, behind Netflix, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime Video.
It was one man's legacy and dream that has now become one of the most impressive collections from a galaxy far, far away. And it's ready to open tomorrow at noon at a pop-up show, or a pop-up shop, I should say, in West Valley City.
This is truly impressive. Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph has the exclusive story of one man's devotion to collecting that has now led to his children remembering their father in a way you have to see to believe.
At Valley Fair Mall, rolling through the hallways are some unsuspecting boxes along with some familiar characters, all heading to a pop-up shop. And inside is a collection that words can't describe. What is thought to be one of the largest collections of Star Wars toys in the world is about to open for the public to see.
If you like Star Wars, if you can't find something in here, you don't like Star Wars.
And it's not just a look at. Each item is up for sale, and what you see here is just the beginning.
As much as you can see here, there is at least this much that is not out yet.
All that stuff's been priced. All this needs to be gone through here.
I mean, we just got in 20 new totes today. No one has been through, even the family. We have no idea what's even in them.
Roger Prowse is a co-owner of the Nerd Store a few doors down, and he's been helping to set this up.
Did you know what you were getting?
No, I had no clue. It's a lot of man hours. I think we're over 200 man hours into this so far.
What's even more amazing is this. All of this was one man's life mission.
It's pretty amazing. It's overwhelming, I think.
And years of collecting.
This is Garrett and Jordan Turner. Their dad, Stuart Turner, is the one who amassed this collection.
His mother was a reading teacher, and she brought home the book when it came out. And as soon as he finished the book, he was in love.
Stuart worked for the railroad for 28 years, but it was just before his retirement when he passed. That was 2 years ago. Now, after countless hours of hard work, it's ready to show off.
I think everyone that comes here is going to get a sense of that. Cool.
The hope, or the new hope, is that each piece can go to someone that enjoyed it as much as he did.
Maybe let their kids play with it. That'd be pretty great, since we never got to.
We never got to open the Star Wars toys.
And after all this, the big question, do they still like Star Wars?
Not on this level, but yes.
Yeah.
So starting Saturday at noon, you don't have to go to a galaxy far, far away. For every Star Wars fan, young and old, to own a piece of one man's legacy to cherish for years to come.
Makes me want to cry.
It does.
Spencer Joseph.
I definitely think we're going to get a line in the morning.
Fox 13 News, Utah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
A line out the door, down the street. My goodness, Toys R Us doesn't even have that many.
His kids crack me up. They would like to see somebody play with those toys, actually, because they never were able to.
They never got to.
I think I have some similar type love for Barbies when I was younger that are still never played with, that I'm like...
Do you still have a collection?
Yeah, they're at my parents' house. I still have that collection.
How many in your collection?
Honestly, I have no idea. Because I never played with them. They were just sitting there.
They're pristine condition.
No, not hundreds. Dozens, maybe.
Dozens.
Yeah.
Save them for your daughter when you have a daughter.
Yeah, someday. I'm not expecting it right now. I don't want any rumors to get going. Hey, here across the state, we do have an area of high pressure off to our east, which is bringing the chance for some monsoon storms here across the state. So with high pressure, you get a clockwise flow. And with that southerly flow is going to bring some additional chances for some storms here across the state come tomorrow. But right now, a beautiful view from the Natural History Museum facing west. Just about an hour ago, we had a thunderstorm that rolled through West Valley and the Salt Lake City airport. We had some slick roads out there, and we still have some slick roads in the west side of the Salt Lake Valley right now, and it cooled down quite a bit. Right now, 79 here in Salt Lake, 81 for Ogden, and 79 degrees in Provo. So a couple of concerts are happening right now. We've got a concert up at Deer Valley where we've got a little bit of rain that just came down. Looks like they've cleared out a little bit. A little bit of rain still down towards Spanish Fork Canyon and down towards Provo. So up towards Sundance and Provo Canyon currently, and then just southwest of Dugway, a little thunderstorm. So tonight, we're going to still have that chance for some widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly across northern Utah. Into southern Utah, still a little breezy out there. So here's what you can expect through the evening in Salt Lake City. Temperatures will stay pretty consistent, around 70 to 75 for much of the night. We will have a chance for a few scattered showers in the morning tomorrow, but our best chance for storms will be during the afternoon tomorrow here along the Wasatch Front. But by 11 o'clock tonight, we'll still have a few storms going across northern Utah, especially up towards the Idaho border as we head into early tomorrow morning and late morning by 10:30 a.m. Up towards Bear Lake, definitely a day to be weather aware because these storms could produce some gusty winds that could end up creating choppy boating conditions. And then for the Wasatch Front tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have a few storms that do develop. So out towards the West Desert, if you're planning on doing any recreating out in the West Desert, all things to consider with that possibility of storms, just keeping your eye on the sky if you start seeing those dark clouds approaching. By 11 o'clock tomorrow, we still have at 11 p.m. the chance for a few thunderstorms near the Idaho border tomorrow evening. So at 10 o'clock tonight, a little breezy here across the state, a little bit calmer come tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow afternoon here across Utah, wind about 15 to 25 miles per hour across the state. So when you wake up Saturday morning at 7 a.m., temperatures around 65 to 75 for the Wasatch Front. Got a chance for a few of those showers early in the day, but our better chance will be right after lunch tomorrow for the Wasatch Front. And these storms could produce some brief heavy rainfall tomorrow. So our chance of precipitation for St. George is pretty low this weekend, but you'll see a few more chances for rain by next Tuesday. Ogden, you've got widespread storms expected tomorrow, and then our temperatures will end up being about 100 degrees in St. George this weekend, and overnight temps will be in the 70s, but tomorrow's going to be a little breezy for St. George. Salt Lake, low 80s tomorrow. Thunderstorms are likely, 87 on Sunday. Let's talk more about our chance for rain here in Salt Lake City later in the hour.
It's such an appropriate response to have stress and anxiety, depression over such a life-changing diagnosis as cancer.
A doctor from Huntsman Cancer Institute on her newly published study on the mental health component of treating cancer patients. What they found, plus one patient's personal experience. Straight ahead. New research from the Huntsman Cancer Institute shows the need for more mental health treatments for cancer patients, those with Hodgkin's lymphoma in particular.
Fox 13 News anchor Amy Ney explains the findings and shares one patient's personal experience.
May 5th, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Gretchen Baldwin is a registered nurse working at Memorial Hospital in Sweetwater County in Rock Springs, Wyoming.
I just wish people would talk more about it. When you think of cancer, you think of like just losing your hair and whatnot, but going through cancer, like it really opened my eyes as to what you go through.
Just out of nursing school and right during the pandemic, Gretchen went through 12 cycles of chemotherapy over the course of 6 months at the Huntsman Cancer Center in Salt Lake City and is now thankfully in remission.
People think of, oh, you're in remission, yay, it's done, you're never going to think about it again. But no, like it's on my mind every single day.
It's such an appropriate response to have stress and anxiety, depression over such a life-changing diagnosis as cancer. Even if you're told, this is a great prognosis, you're going to do well.
Dr. Rhonda Tao from Huntsman Cancer Institute leading a study on Hodgkin lymphoma patients, finding they're at a higher risk of mental health diagnoses and potential substance abuse later in life.
It is surprising, but it's not. It just makes complete sense.
This type of cancer, one of the most curable, striking many patients like Gretchen when they're young with their whole lives ahead of them.
There's been so many studies done on just the physical effects of cancer, but nobody has really explored this topic of psychosocial mental health well-being. So I think this is an important first step.
Hoping it may change the way doctors treat their patients, expanding their care to include the mental health component.
As physicians, we need to be more aware of that and think about, ways that we can better support patients' mental health in addition to all the things that we try to do to support their physical health.
Something Gretchen says she'd like to see more of, going through her own emotional roller coaster from the moment she was diagnosed, even now after treatments, helping others in her role, and with her own wedding once postponed, now set to happen in just 2 weeks.
If I could tell someone who's going through it, like start earlier, start talking to someone, start, just getting that support earlier rather than later.
Amy Nay, Fox 13 News, Utah.
If you would like to see the complete study, we have it posted at fox13now.com.
An investigation by the Associated Press claims that a helpline used by lay leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was used to cover up a crime of sexual abuse.
The Utah State Senate orders an independent investigation into accusations of sexual harassment against one of their own.
It's a public health emergency, but monkeypox is nothing like COVID. We're going in depth on what monkeypox is and isn't.
An investigation by the Associated Press claims an abuse helpline used by lay leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was used to cover up a case of sexual abuse.
Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi spoke to the AP reporter who wrote the story and has reaction from the church.
The church says that it does not tolerate abuse, and I quoted their official statement. In my story, I quoted their official statement saying they don't tolerate abuse. But in the Arizona case of Paul Adams and his 2 daughters, they clearly tolerated the abuse.
Mike Resendiz is an investigative journalist with the Associated Press. He reported on a family in Bisbee, Arizona, where a father confessed to his bishop that he had been sexually abusing his daughter.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they have a policy that when a church leader hears an allegation or gets any information about child sex abuse or potential child sex abuse, their first move ought to be what they call the helpline, a church helpline. And so this bishop, Bishop John Herod, he abided by the church policy. He called the helpline, and he says that attorneys who he talked to through the helpline advised him that he could not report the allegation that Paul Adams was sexually abusing his daughter.
Resendiz says that after the father spoke to the bishop for the first time, the abuse continued for 7 years and included another baby daughter as well. Now, in a strongly worded response to the AP story Friday, the church says that the AP published a, quote, oversimplified and incomplete story, end quote, about how the church handles sex abuse cases. The church says that its system ensures reporting compliance and that those found guilty of abuse do face church discipline, including loss of church membership. It says in part, quote, our hearts break for these children and all victims of abuse. When a leader calls the helpline, the conversation is about how to stop the abuse, care for the victim, and ensure compliance with reporting obligations. Even in cases when the law provides clergy penitent privilege or restricts what can be shared from private ecclesiastical conversations. State Representative Angela Romero says in 2020, she tried to pass a bill to make it mandatory for all religious leaders
leaders, not just those in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, to report child abuse. But that bill didn't pass.
Anytime somebody goes to someone and there is an allegation of child sex abuse, I think that definitely needs to go through the right channels and report it to law enforcement, and there be a criminal investigation. Child sex abuse is one of the most horrific crimes anyone could do. And to see the suffering that these children had to go through because nobody stood up for them makes me sick to my stomach.
Romero says she hopes to pass a similar bill in the next session. The father in Arizona was eventually arrested by federal authorities on child pornography charges. He died by suicide in prison while waiting for trial. In Salt Lake City, I am Maithili Gobi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
We caught up with former Salt Lake City Mayor Rocky Anderson today after he announced he wants to be mayor again. Anderson plans to challenge current Mayor Aaron Mendenhall in 2023. He wasn't originally planning to run again, but he's upset with what's happening in the city and doesn't see any problem solvers.
I'm thrilled to solve difficult problems. I've done it all my adult life. And as we come together as a community, we're going to get back to where we were when I was mayor. Places Rated Almanac named Salt Lake City the best place in North America to live. Now we're on the list of one of the most dangerous cities in the United States.
Anderson was mayor from 2000 to 2008. He is not yet officially a candidate.
We have an update to a story Fox 13 News reported last night. A longtime state senator is now under investigation for sexual harassment. Gene Davis is accused of inappropriate conduct around a former intern and campaign worker. Fox 13 News political reporter Ben Winslow has the latest from Utah's Capitol Hill.
Senator Gene Davis has so far not responded to repeated requests for comment from Fox 13 News. The Democratic lawmaker's former legislative intern made a public post on Instagram detailing accusations of sexual harassment against him. On Capitol Hill, political leaders reacted by launching an investigation. The Senate president says he takes the comments seriously, and after reviewing recommendations from legal counsel and the Capitol's Human Resources Administrator, he ordered an independent investigation to evaluate the allegations. He goes on to say the Senate condemns and does not tolerate workplace harassment. It has no place in any political, professional, or personal setting. Senate Democratic leaders also reacted, saying they take the accusations seriously and they do not tolerate sexual harassment or any form of inappropriate conduct. They say sexual harassment is wholly unacceptable, and while no complaint has been filed, we have confidence in the legislature's workplace discrimination and harassment policies and process to support employees and interns. While the investigation is underway, Senator Davis will not be stripped of any committee assignments, but depending on the outcome, he could face a Senate ethics investigation that could result in discipline. The Salt Lake County Democratic Party has suspended him from any party activities.
I invite everybody that has potential knowledge of harassment or discrimination to file a case.
Senator Davis is one of the longest-serving lawmakers on Capitol Hill. He's been in office since 1987 and has been accused of inappropriate behavior before. Last year, he apologized to a former legislative staffer who accused him of inappropriate conduct. Now, Senator Davis lost a primary election battle, so he'll be out of office come January. His opponent in that race, Nate Bluin, tells Fox 13 News he believes the young woman and supports the Senate investigation. On the Hill, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Coming up, with monkeypox cases on the rise, we'll go over the facts and myths about the virus, what the CDC wants you to know.
Tomorrow, the Salt Lake County Health Department will hold a walk-in monkeypox vaccine clinic. The department is focusing on prevention.
But they also want to make sure the public understands what monkeypox is and what it is not. Fox 13 News anchor Max Roth takes an in-depth look.
Monkeypox is appearing at a time when the world is tuned into the idea of a highly contagious pandemic with COVID. But monkeypox is far less contagious than COVID, and it's much less deadly. And unlike COVID, it's not new. Scientists discovered monkeypox in 1958 in monkeys in Africa, hence the name. No human case was found until 1970, And before 2022, almost all cases were related to travel in Africa or from imported animals. And monkeypox is rarely fatal. The Annenberg Center for Public Policy surveyed Americans, finding nearly half weren't sure if monkeypox is less contagious than COVID. It is less contagious. Unlike COVID, it's transmitted through close contact. Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis is the CDC's expert.
The overall risk to the U.S. public is low. Monkeypox is a much more difficult disease to transmit than others, such as COVID-19, and requires close physical contact to spread. Monkeypox is not something you will pick up walking by someone in the grocery store.
The Salt Lake County Health Department released a fact sheet outlining activities that are high, moderate, and slightly risky. High risk is direct contact with the rash, scabs, or bodily fluids, and sexual or intimate contact. Moderate risk might include kissing, cuddling, or dancing at a crowded party where people are shirtless. And some risk could come from sharing drinks or sharing a bed or other personal items with someone infected. You've seen pictures of the actual pox or rashes on the skin, but watch for other symptoms.
Symptoms of monkeypox can include a rash or sores, sometimes called pox, and often occur after flu-like symptoms like fever, headache, muscle aches, swollen lymph nodes, chills, and exhaustion.
Back to that Annenberg survey, they found 2/3 of Americans don't know if there is a vaccine. And there is, but there's not enough stockpiled because an international outbreak was unexpected. Importantly, monkeypox is not a sexually transmitted disease. Condoms are not protection because it's not specifically intimate contact. It's just close contact, and intimacy just happens to be the most common kind of very close contact. Now, there are some very specific criteria to qualify for that vaccine clinic tomorrow, so we'll link you to that information from Fox13Now.com. In studio, Max Roth, Fox 13 News, Utah.
There have been 48 confirmed and probable cases of monkeypox here in Utah. 37 of those are in Salt Lake County.
Well, coming up, we do still have a few thunderstorms here across northern Utah, what you can expect for the rest of tonight, and how the weather may impact your weekend plans.
And later in sports, the latest Donovan Mitchell trade rumors involves 3 different teams. The detail is forthcoming. Plus, we're on the links for round 2 of the Utah Championship, where a couple of former golfers from both BYU and Fremont High are in great shape to win it in Farmington. Back in a bit.
Welcome back, everyone. The Utah National Guard's Homeland Response Force is conducting its readiness validation exercise at Camp Williams over the next couple of days. Because of the pandemic, it's now been more than 3 years since the last evaluation. It will include search and extradition, decontamination, and fatality search and recovery.
So we go through a scenario that's given to us by a civilian agency, and then we analyze it and staff it in order to make sure that we can operate and function and be successful on conducting operations on an incident site.
Those taking part in the exercise are anxious to demonstrate they are trained and ready to serve our country.
Utah Republican Congressman Chris Stewart hosted his annual Stewart Security Summit in Salt Lake today. He was joined by congressional colleagues, a Taiwanese representative to the U.S., and Enos Kanter Freedom, who played with the Utah Jazz for 3 years and is a human rights activist.
Talking about it and bringing awareness is amazing, but what are we doing to take some real action? It is important to first of all, educate our home, educate our kids, and then after that, educate our street and neighbor, because it is, many things are happening around the world because of uneducated people. So I feel like we need to educate.
From Congress to international representatives such as Enos Kanter Freedom, they analyzed the state of American politics and national security at the summit today.
You may be seeing more bicycles around the city of Ogden. Green Bike, which is Utah's nonprofit bicycle sharing system, has launched in the city. Ogden residents now have access to 6 new stations and 60 new bikes.
We're really kind of focused on improving our air quality. That's one of our major goals, is air quality improvement. And so when we can give people options for getting around, especially somewhere around a downtown core, without having to jump in their car every time they want to run an errand or they want to go for lunch or something like that, people, we find, will take that option. And so when we started looking at other connections that make sense, Ogden sort of jumped to the front.
Green Bike says this expansion makes it the country's largest nonprofit bike share system connected by transit rail. Well, today, hundreds of Utah school children, they received a free back-to-school dental checkup courtesy of Roseman University's College of Dental Medicine in South Jordan.
Services included an exam, x-rays, and up to $100 worth of other dental care. This free checkup day is a win for the dental school students who get some real-world experience, and it's an even bigger win for the parents and patients.
And I do have insurance, but the insurance is expensive. I think it runs about $150. I have 3 boys, so it's a blessing for us to have the opportunity to come here. And they also need to understand that, hey, there's nothing to be afraid of dentists.
It's fun for us because we get to joke around with them. There's tooth fairies, we get to give out stickers, and I think the most important thing that we want to teach today is that the dentist isn't scary, and we want to get them in here young and early so that it's a good and positive experience.
This event was first come, first served for the first 600 people, but those who missed out were not turned away. They received a voucher for a dental checkup at a later date.
Well, a majestic picture of Timpanogos tonight just came into our Facebook group, Utah's Weather Authority. I wanted to share it with you. You can see the clouds, but a little bit of that sunshine, that golden hour still peeking through right at Timp. So thank you to Jason for sharing that picture with us. We do still have a few thunderstorms out across northern Utah out towards Dugway right now, and then Provo Canyon up through Heber into central Utah. We've had some thunderstorms through Spanish Fort Canyon this evening, but mainly what we're tracking tonight will be widely scattered thunderstorms, and some storms could produce some brief gusty wind. So that could be strong enough wind to potentially cause some damage with the storms today. But what we're really going to be tracking for you into tomorrow will again be more chances for scattered to maybe even widespread storms at times into tomorrow. So let's talk about Saturday morning. 6 a.m. We will have a few thunderstorms into northwest Utah, particularly near Wendover and up towards the Nevada border. Temps in the 60s and 70s when you wake up tomorrow morning. And then your forecast at a glance for Salt Lake, 82 tomorrow, Ogden 76, and for Provo 83 with isolated storms into Utah County. But we do have that chance for thunderstorms here in Salt Lake and Ogden. Into southern Utah, St. George, warm, breezy 99, 88 in Richfield, Cedar City 84, and then into eastern Utah tomorrow, Moab 97, Price 90, and for Vernal 93 degrees with mostly sunny sky. So additional rain from here on out does bring our best chance for rain north of I-70. This is through Saturday night. And we still could see some brief heavy rainfall with storms that develop into tomorrow. But our flash flood potential for our recreation areas Saturday, not expected, but still stay weather aware just in case those storms start to develop. But it's looking pretty good for southern Utah this weekend. Warm and breezy tomorrow at 99, 103 on Sunday. Better chances for storms next week. Here in Salt Lake, Saturday, Sunday, air quality will be moderate here for the Salt Lake Valley. So air quality will be decent this weekend. Temperatures are going to be comfortable tomorrow. Low 80s for a high. Let's go ahead and break down your Saturday for you because thunderstorms are likely tomorrow. Temperatures when you first wake up will be about 70, and then you'll be pretty consistent in the upper 70s, close to 80 for a high tomorrow. By Tuesday next week, sunny, 94, and by next Wednesday, you're back into the mid-90s still at 93 degrees. So our chance of precipitation tomorrow here in Salt Lake, widespread. Saturday night, some widely scattered storms. And then we'll see a little bit of a drying trend and then some more chances for widely scattered storms by next Wednesday. And we'll keep you around 90 to 95 for much of next week.
As we reported yesterday, 7 former or current BYU golfers were among the field at this summer's Utah Championship. But even better after day one, 2 of those were among the handful at the top, both Zach Blair and Patrick Fishburne, within just 2 strokes of the lead going into today's round 2. Let's go right back to Oak Ridge Country Club, grass that Daniel Summerhays knows well. The whole Summerhays clan on hand to watch Danny hopefully be better than he was on Thursday. This is a little chip at 2. If it goes, it's an eagle. Then again, golf is a game of inches. He'll settle for birdie. The Brighton High product, David Timmons, in that same group, but his putt at 2 Bends a mile early, a bogey there, and he won't make the cut. Same hole for Peter Quest, who had a killer surge tonight, just a titch shy of a bird. More on him in a moment. Austin Christiansen finished early. Christiansen barely missed 18, but still sits in great shape at -7 in a tie for 32nd. Now to Fishburne, who eagled 3 times yesterday. Hard to top that. Tough putt at 7. A bogey there, but other than that, did enough to keep near the top in a tie for 9th, currently in 9 under, while Blair is still without a single bogey all week. 36 straight holes without one. One of his 3 birdies seen there. He had a share of the lead when he wrapped up. A few others have since leapfrogged, but at -10, Blair will certainly take that.
Anytime you can kind of keep the bogeys off the card, it's nice. So do that for a couple more days, be all right. I kind of figured, 6 under every day is kind of usually right around what gets it done out here. So probably need a couple more good ones the rest of the week.
Here are those 7 guys with local ties. Blair is actually square with Quest in a tie for 5th. 3 strokes back of the leader, Pontus, Nyholm, Summerhays, Lundell, and Timmons have yet to complete their rounds with play suspended due to darkness. Danny needs to fight to make the cut, which is at 5 under par. It's been a while since we've heard much chatter on the Donovan Mitchell trade front, but today a report trickled out via a source called Hoops Hype about a conversation involving a 3-way deal between the Jazz, Knicks, and Lakers. In that potential move, the Jazz would get Russell Westbrook and significant draft pick compensation, with Mitchell going to the Knicks. Other Jazz pieces like Bojan Bogdanovic, Jordan Clarkson, Patrick Beverley, or Malik Beasley could also be involved there. The Bees doing another one with the best team in the Pacific Coast League, and Oklahoma City looked like it tonight. Jason Martin, his 2nd long-distance call in 3 innings at Smith's Ballpark. And then very next batter, James Outman takes his even deeper into right. Those funky blue uniforms not working for Salt Lake as they trail 13-0 in the 9th. While the Ogden Raptors wrapped up early in Grand Junction, where it was called Home Run City for the road team. Start with Josh Broughton in the first, 1 of 2 home runs tonight for him. Ogden adding 7 more runs in the second. Dakota Connors this time with the jack. Jesus Valdez adding 1 the same direction over that green monster. That one a grand slam there as the Raptors take it over the Rockies 14-9. We'll be right back.
Want to own some of Elvis's jewelry? A California auction house tracked down dozens of jewels owned by the king of rock and roll that were thought to be lost. No, they're not. The jewels will be available for bidding alongside other Elvis-related memorabilia for the rest of the month.
The jewels have not left the building.
No.
QuickCast is up next.